One weekend, all by myself, in a hotel, in the same town I live in. But why? As I am in my middle age, I have really started to crave some extended amount of time by myself. It is just something I don't get. I am in that stage of my life where I have 2 adult children living at home. One works full-time, but one's in school, and I work full-time. So even when she's gone, I'm at work. And obviously my husband is with me as well. So he works full-time and he's home obviously in the evenings. I don't really get an extended amount of time all by myself, and sometimes I really crave that. I know everyone's different, and I love being around people, and I actually love having my family home. So please don't get the impression that I'm like, oh, I wish they'd all go away. I don't want that to happen. I love them being home. But we all need to be refreshed. We all need to re-energize, and sometimes we all just need to have some time alone. And I just don't get that at any time, really at all. I had been toying with the idea for actually a couple years of going away and having some time to myself in a hotel to do a few things. And so last year was the first year I actually did this. And it was one of the most, wonderful things I don't know how else to say it. It was one of the most wonderful things I'd ever done in that context of being by myself. And I did it again this year. It was so refreshing. So why do I do this? So first of all, let me say that this video is going to center a lot around my walk with the Lord. As many of you know, and I've said it in many of my videos, that I am a Christian. And so this does have to do with that, but it's not only that. There are some other things. So I don't want you to look at this as, oh, this is only for people who are Christians, because it is not. This concept can be utilized for anybody who just needs time alone, and you can adapt it to what it is your needs are. So let me say that from the beginning, but I am going to be talking about my walk with the Lord throughout this. So if that really is something you don't want to watch, that's okay. You can just shut this video off and go watch another one of my videos or my next one. But let me explain to you how I used this weekend. First, let me go over the purpose of this weekend. Number one was to really concentrate and to really examine my walk with my God. And that was first and foremost in my mind. And to do that, it takes time, and it takes time alone. And that was why this weekend is so important to me. The second part of that, which kind of goes into number one, is to have an extended amount of time of prayer with the Lord. So again, that's something that I can do that around, millions of people I can pray. But sometimes it really does help to get time where it's really, really quiet and I can really settle my heart and settle my thoughts. And so having this time alone is used for that. Number two was for me to spend some time goal setting. Goal setting in many different aspects. One would be my relationships with my family, with friends, things like that. Number two would to be goal setting for my channel, for you guys. And number three would be goal setting for my health and the things that I want to accomplish just in exercise and in my diet and things like that. Number three was to just be by myself, where I answer to nobody and nobody answers to me. Number four was to spend some time pampering myself. And so I'll explain what that is in a little bit. So first of all, let me talk about the things that I brought with me. How did I set up the weekend? I stayed in a hotel in my local area right here, like literally 5 minutes away. I stayed in this hotel last year and it was really comfortable. It's a hotel that has a kitchenette as part of it because I wanted to be able to have a refrigerator, warm up things in a microwave, that kind of things. And I'll explain that in a minute. One of the things I didn't bring was makeup. So my goal was to not do any kind of, getting ready or anything like that. I just didn't want to do all that. So I came right before I left for the weekend. I had taken a shower, like literally right before I left. And I did my makeup then and made myself look presentable as I was out in public and things. But at that point forward, I did not use any makeup because I just wanted my skin to have a breather. And that was part of the pampering part of the weekend. I did bring all my skincare, so I took care of my skin while I was there. And that's always important, especially in a hotel, because it's always so dry in a hotel. I don't know why that is, but it is. I did bring with me a face mask and a hair mask. I didn't end up using the hair mask, but I did do the face mask. And I brought stuff to give myself a pedicure. So that was kind of the pampering part of it, where I could concentrate on that just a little bit and just make myself feel a little bit more pampered throughout the weekend. The clothes I brought were extremely comfortable. I came in a pair of jeans, but I brought with me a pair of leggings, a sweatshirt, a cozy sweater, and then just a nicer looking sweater that you see me wearing throughout it. So I just wanted to be extremely comfortable, and I had socks to put on throughout the weekend. How did I handle meals throughout the weekend? So I got there, it was after lunch, but before dinner. And so I had already eaten lunch, obviously. I brought with me a snack of veggie straws because I needed something healthy. I didn't want to go off my meal plans and things because of this weekend, but I wasn't going to be extremely strict, but definitely I ate healthy. So I brought veggie straws. I cut up a bunch of strawberries and I brought a whole thing of blueberries with me. And then the only other food I brought was fat-free half and half, because you know that they're not going to have that in the hotel down at the breakfast and thing. And breakfast was included in this hotel, so I didn't have to think about that aspect of it. So that's the only food I brought. The other meals that I had was dinner the first night. So I went and got Chipotle the first night. Breakfast was included again. And then I went out and got a lunch on the next day, and dinner was delivered. Some of the other things that I brought with me was a candle. I really wanted to have, if the room didn't smell right or something, I wanted a candle that would make it smell nice. You know, sometimes hotel rooms just smell funky, or maybe stale smoke if it used to be a smoking room, or I don't know. This hotel was actually fine. It didn't smell at all, but I did light the candle a little bit throughout, but not a lot. I obviously brought my computer. I brought my iPad, my iPencil, because I would do some journaling on my iPad. I did bring a notebook and a pen. I ended up not using it. I did everything on my iPad. I brought an extra blanket just so I could be cozy and, you know, just if I got chilly or anything, I liked that feeling of being able to have a blanket from home. And then because I filmed this whole thing, or not the whole thing, but parts of it, I brought all my filming supplies. But that's it. I didn't bring anything else because I didn't need it. After everything was unpacked, I wanted to just spend some quiet time right away. Quiet time means quiet and settling my heart into some prayer, and to just get my mind focused on the Lord and the weekend, and kind of think through some of my goals of the weekend. So I just sat down and I journaled a little bit, and I'll be honest with you, it didn't go very well. I'm going to be honest with you. It's really hard at the beginning of this weekend to focus, because my head is swarming with just the things that I had this entire week. I left my family, so I needed to get some things done before I left. I mean, they're fine. They can totally be on their own. I'm not worried about that. It's just that I have to shut off my brain, and that's the hard part. And I think that this weekend is one of those things, and that's why I do an entire weekend. It's really important for me to have an entire day tomorrow. So tonight is kind of like getting settled in, thinking through what I want to do. I needed to pack today and things like that. But tonight is kind of settling my mind, settling my heart, being still and being quiet and being with myself. Because let's face it, I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being by myself. And I mean, obviously I'm myself sometimes, but not for an extended period of time. And so it's really important that you take the time to start being still and being quiet. So as I sit here, I don't have the TV on. I'm on my iPad, but I am getting through a couple things. I just want to get them off my mind. I know last year at one point I turned off all social media, so I had no notifications on, and I'll do that today as well. So no notifications will come to me, and it's important that those don't happen. I may check in, and that's fine, but if I'm in the middle of having a really good time with the Lord, or if I'm really on the role of goal setting and thinking through my priorities and things like that, and then all of a sudden an Instagram thing pops up, I get excited and I want to go read them right away. And so I have to shut everything off so that my mind can just start settling down. So that's why tomorrow is that's why I do an entire weekend, because tomorrow is an entire day. I don't have to think about, okay, I need to leave at 5 o'clock. I need to get up at a certain time because I have to check out at a certain time. That'll be on Monday. So I need that time. So I really recommend you do this over a 2-day span, if you're able to. Like, I wanted to spend some time with the Lord, but I also wanted a focus. I wanted to feel like I had accomplished something and had something to do in that area. And so I have been utilizing this website called Right Now Media. My church is the one that has a subscription to it, but there are many churches that have it, and I think you can do it on your own as well. So just go on Right Now Media. I'm going to link it down below so you guys can go on this. This is full of videos of every topic you can think of. Just books in the Bible. It talks about marriage. There's videos on marriage. There's videos on being single, for teenagers, for people with anxiety, for problems in your marriage, or how to create a good marriage, for children, for women, for men. There's just everything under the sun that you can think of is these videos. And it's by all these different speakers, many different ones. And they're done in all different ways. And it is free. As far as I know, I got it free through my church. I don't know if you would have a cost. I will make sure that all that information is below so you guys know that. But I cannot recommend this website more. It has been really, really good for my walk with the Lord, because sometimes I will sit down to read a book and I have a hard time focusing my mind. This is a perfect thing for me because I can read through the passage of scripture that it gives you to read, and then I can watch a video of a really good educator on that subject. So the one I did last year, and in fact both of them were from the same author. His name is Francis Chan. He's very well known in the Christian circle of books and videos, and he is a pastor, and I really enjoy his viewpoint on Christianity. And last year I did a whole video series on prayer, and it was probably one of the best series I had ever seen on it. The one I did this time was a whole series on the book of Mark. So Mark is one of the Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the Gospels in the New Testament. It was very well done. So I went through that whole series throughout the whole weekend, and I'm not sure how many there were, but it's really good and it's broken down. So I was able to watch a couple videos and then do something else, and watch a couple more videos and do something else. And it was just one of the best things that I could have done both times, was to watch these videos. I did throughout the weekend a little bit, not very much, watch some Netflix. I had my iPad and I have the Netflix app on it. So I watched a little bit where it was just mindless, sitting there watching a movie or a TV show or Netflix show on it. I did have some of that. Sometimes you just need to have just, mindless activities. So while I was doing like a pedicure or something, I was watching a Netflix show or something where it was just fun and relaxing. That made it good. So sometime on Saturday, I was there, it was actually Sunday. I was there Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It was a weekend where I had a Monday off. I did leave and I went out to a convenience store in Pennsylvania. It's called Wawa. So some of you who don't live in this area will be like, okay, that's a funny name, but it's called Wawa. And I was able to get my favorite kale and quinoa salad. Love this salad. So I picked up that, and I picked up, some Snapple, a drink and things like that I brought with me. So that was my lunch that day. And then that night, Sunday night, I actually texted my husband and asked him if he wouldn't mind delivering Chinese to me. And he was very, very sweet and brought me Chinese. The funny thing is I'm sure they were wondering, like, he stood there in the, he was actually pulled up, and I went out and I took it out of the car. I took it from him, and then I kissed him goodbye. So I'm sure, I don't know if they were watching it all, but they're probably like, why is this woman kissing the delivery guy? Anyways, so at the end of the weekend, I just felt so refreshed and so relaxed, and my walk with the Lord was stronger. I was able to just really settle my mind eventually. It did take some time, and that's just par for the course. Now, I realize that staying in a hotel can be expensive, and so you don't have to choose an expensive hotel. You can go cheaper. You also might want to use, a lot of times, like I have a Capital One credit card, and so that would pay for a hotel as well as flights. Or we have a Marriott credit card for our family, and that could be points that I use to stay at a Marriott. If that's not feasible, then staying at maybe a friend's, if a friend of yours has a beach house or a mountain house or something, maybe you can ask them if you can stay there. So there are ways maybe around that. And I realize that some people, there's nothing available to you. And I get that. Hopefully you can find a way, just try to be creative. The other thing I highly recommend is just keep it really simple. That's why I chose not to wear makeup. I just brought exactly the amount of clothes that I needed and nothing else. I prepared some food for me, and I tried to make it so that I didn't have to leave hardly at all. Keep it very simple. It will be difficult in the beginning to settle your mind, but if you really spend the time, your mind will eventually settle. What I did is I just asked the Lord to do that. I asked God to just keep my mind on the things that He wanted me to think about, and that's exactly what happened. So that is my weekend all by myself in a hotel. It was wonderful, and I can't recommend it highly enough. So let me know if you guys do anything similar like this. I'd love to hear your ideas or ideas for other people to hear. So comment below and let us know anything that you guys do. And I will see you guys in the next video. God bless.